One day, an extraordinary natural phenomenon occurred. In December of the year 2050, Earth was affected by a supernova explosion 500,000 light-years away, triggering ice storms all over the world. The temperature in the city reached -70 degrees Celsius, and the snowstorm lasted for more than a month, covering the entire world with a thick layer of ice. This disaster caused the mass extinction of many living creatures, including humankind. Zhang, a warehouse manager at the city's largest supermarket storage facility, managed to survive for more than a month in his apartment after gathering a small supply of food and other necessities. However, a woman he had liked for a long time, Fang Yuqing, came to him and persuaded Zhang to open his apartment door. Zhang couldn't believe it. Fang Yuqing brought a group of men who were also his neighbors. They took all his food supplies and even mutilated his body to use as a stock of food. In the midst of unbearable pain and nearing his death, Zhang swore he would take revenge for the betrayal and pain he had suffered. For some reason, Zhang woke up again in his apartment. It was as if he had been given a second chance at life. After seeing the date on his phone, he realized he had come back to life 3 months before the disaster happened. This time, he was determined not to be a victim again and began planning his revenge. A bright light flashed before his eyes, making Zhang realize that not only had he come back to life, but now he also had the ability to store items in another dimension with unlimited capacity, just like an inventory in a game. Taking advantage of this power, Zhang planned to gather food supplies and other necessities for survival. Trying to enjoy his life before the disaster, Zhang indulged in luxurious food and paid for it with a credit card, without worrying about having to pay it off. As he walked out of the restaurant, Zhang accidentally ran into Fang Yuqing and her friend, the cunning woman who had deceived him in his previous life, even taking his hand to use as food. He pretended to be friendly to Fang Yuqing and her friend, inviting them to go shopping with him while secretly plotting revenge. Upon arriving at the apartment, Zhang put all his groceries into the storage dimension, thinking to himself that there was still much he needed to prepare before the disaster struck. He also hoped to obtain a weapon so he could protect himself when the time came. The next day, Zhang took food out of his storage, realizing that food would never spoil as long as it was kept there. Zhang ordered thousands of luxury catering meals delivered right away, claiming he was throwing a big party. Then, Zhang took the deed to his apartment and mortgaged it, along with his other valuable belongings for a large loan, before the money lost its value when the winter disaster arrived. He managed to raise 9 million yuan, or about 20 billion rupiah. Zhang immediately began his preparations. Zhang contacted the best security company to turn his house into a steel-reinforced fortress, installing bulletproof glass, heating and air filtration systems, 360-degree surveillance cameras, and a steel vault door. He also requested access to weapons, which surprised the manager, but he agreed to all of Zhang requests and immediately began preparations after Zhang paid the down payment. Next, Zhang went to a hunting club and bought hunting equipment and a bow and arrows as weapons. When he got to the apartment lobby, his food order was already there, drawing attention from many, including Fang Yuqing, due to the many trucks arriving. Zhang immediately stored all the items in his dimensional storage, making sure his supplies would be safe for years to come. The next day, construction workers began renovating his apartment, turning it into an impenetrable steel fortress. While his neighbors were confused and amazed by all of Zhang changes, he remained focused, confident that they would realize the truth in time. Zhang also bought medicines from the pharmaceutical factory at high prices to make sure he got all the drugs, even if they had already been ordered by someone else before. Zhang began to attract the attention of Fang Yuqing, who was curious about Zhang massive preparations. Fang Yuqing contacted Zhang curious about what Zhang was planning, and said that she missed Zhang. However, Zhang ignored her insincere interest, which made Fang Yuqing upset. Meanwhile, the construction of Zhang protective fortress was completed, equipped with a surveillance system on every floor of the building. Zhang was satisfied with the result. He knew he didn't need to pay the bill because the world would soon fall into chaos. The last delivery of drinking water arrived, brought by Uncle Yu, one of the neighbors who had been kind to him in his previous life. Zhang warned Uncle Yu about the upcoming extreme weather, and Uncle Yu, although doubtful, also planned to stock up on supplies. Zhang spent his days continuing his preparations, buying more supplies and practicing archery. 3 days before the winter disaster, the weather began to worsen. While working, Zhang Yi put medicine in the drinks and served them to his colleagues. Soon after, they all fell into a deep sleep, just as he had planned. Zhang Yi turned off the surveillance cameras and quickly moved all the warehouse supplies into his storage room, including fuel, food, and other important equipment. His attention was drawn to the cold weather gear that had just arrived, which was designed to withstand extreme temperatures, and then he stored it away. To perfect his alibi, Zhang Yi also took a special sleeping pill and lay down with his colleagues. 2 hours later, Zhang Yi was woken up by his panicked colleague. They said all the items in the warehouse were gone. Zhang Yi pretended to be surprised when he heard it, and didn't understand how the stock for an entire city could disappear so quickly. His superior contacted Zhang Yi and immediately accused him of being the mastermind behind the theft. But Zhang Yi denied it, saying that he didn't have the ability to do all that. All the staff were then taken to the police station and interrogated, but no clues were found. The police warned them not to leave the city while the case was being investigated. Zhang Yi said to himself, let alone leaving the city, he wouldn't even leave his apartment. The incident of the large-scale disappearance of supplies became headline news in the media. All his doubts and confusion. How could the food and logistic supplies for an entire city disappear without a trace in just 3 hours? On the same day, snow began to fall. Zhang Yi realized that the falling snow signaled that the frozen winter disaster was about to begin. He hurried back to his apartment. 3 days later, the frozen winter disaster arrived without anyone realizing it. The shockwave from the supernova explosion brought catastrophe to the entire Earth. It caused a drastic drop in temperature throughout the night. Watching the snow fall from inside his apartment, Zhang Yi knew that this time the storyline would be different. As the thick snow began to cover the city, the apartment residents started to feel uneasy. Zhang Yi, who was observing the situation, knew very well that for many people, this might be their last chance to see snow. Zhang Yi knew this snowstorm would last a long time, and many would not survive. On the second day, the snow pile had reached a height of over 1 meter, blocking the entrance to the apartment complex and making it difficult for them to get out. The extreme cold made the apartment residents feel cold, even though they had already turned on the heaters. Unlike Zhang Yi, who slept in his warm apartment, Zhang Yi was then awakened by a phone call from Fang Yuqing, who asked about what happened. But Zhang Yi responded coldly and ended the conversation without giving any information. Fang Yuqing shamelessly sent a message asking Zhang Yi to send him food because he couldn't go out, knowing that Zhang Yi had stocked up on a lot of food. Zhang Yi replied by sending a photo of the meat dishes and fancy drinks he was about to eat. This made Fang Yuqing say that he would join Zhang Yi for a meal together. However, Zhang Yi rejected him sarcastically, saying that if Yuqing wanted to, he could buy it himself, and then turned off his phone. While enjoying his meal, Zhang Yi realized that something had happened. Through his surveillance camera, Zhang Yi saw Tianlin, the building manager, announcing that the residents should not panic because the snowstorm would soon stop and forbidding the hoarding of food supplies, or he would report it to the police. Going down to the crowd, Zhang Yi deliberately provoked Tianlin by questioning how Tianlin was so sure that the snowstorm would soon subside. This question prompted the other residents to demand either the chance to stockpile food or that Tianlin be held responsible if anything happened. Tianlin said building management and city authorities were handling the situation and everything would be under control. Tianlin tried to divert attention by blaming Zhang Yi, asking him not to provoke, but Zhang Yi remained calm and indifferent. He returned to his safe apartment, away from all the commotion. A week passed, and the snow kept piling up around the apartment building. Tianlin, who couldn't stand the situation, asked Zhang Yi for help to clear the snow at the entrance. Zhang Yi refused, saying the effort was pointless, which made Tianlin even angrier. Tianlin claimed that the request came from the neighborhood committee and had to be obeyed. Zhang Yi suggested that Tianlin ask Chen Zheng, the construction boss, or Su Hao, the rich man who could pay others if he didn't want to work. In his heart, Zhang Yi knew that Chen Zheng and Su Hao were among those who looted his apartment and tortured him in his previous life. Tianlin looked upset. He then asked Chen Zheng and Su Hao for help in the group chat. Seeing that, Chen Zheng got angry, while Su Hao ignored it, claiming to be busy, which made Tianlin even more upset and blamed Zhang Yi for the chaos that happened. Feeling disturbed, Tianlin finally called Zhang Yi privately. Zhang Yi felt annoyed and threatened to kill him if he kept bothering him, which made Tianlin scared. Not long after, Chen Zheng appeared at Zhang Yi's door angrily, thinking that Zhang Yi was acting arrogant and opposing him. When Chen Zheng started banging on the door while shouting threats, Zhang Yi aimed his bow and then shot an arrow, which flew through a hidden hole in his door. The arrow hit Chen Zheng right on the shin, causing him to fall down, screaming in pain, while Zhang Yi watched him through the peephole of his apartment door. Chen Zheng was shocked by Zhang Yi's courage, realizing that this seemingly weak young man was actually dangerous. In the biting cold, Chen Zheng tried to contact emergency services, but was hindered by the extreme weather conditions. He struggled to pull the arrow out of his leg and posted a threat in the group chat, vowing to kill Zhang Yi. Furiously, Chen Zheng called all his men, who then quickly gathered at his house. He ordered them to go to Zhang Yi's house to teach him a lesson. Not long after, a group of armed men, led by a bald man, arrived outside Zhang Yi's home to get revenge. As they tried to break through the door, their weapons broke. They were shocked to realize the door was made of steel. Confused and powerless, they realized their efforts were in vain. Zhang Yi, who was watching through the surveillance camera, immediately grabbed a water hose and sprayed cold water at the group, causing many of them to collapse, shivering on the floor. Only a few managed to escape, while Zhang Yi was satisfied to see the effect of the cold water, which became a deadly weapon in that extreme weather. At Chen Zheng's house, several of his men who survived were shivering from the cold. They reported that Zhang Yi's steel door was hard to break through, and his tactic of using cold water to attack. Chen Zheng, frustrated, ordered his men to keep watch outside Zhang Yi's home to catch him when he came out. Meanwhile, Uncle Yu seemed to be leading a group of people to clear the snow at the entrance of the building to find a way to the supermarket. Not long after, they gave up because the work was too hard. From his apartment, Zhang Yi observed, he was certain human efforts couldn't stop the snow blanketing the world. The TV news reported on the response to the snow disaster. However, Zhang Yi realized that 95% of the world's population would freeze to death in this disaster. Fang Yuqing sent a message to Zhang Yi, complaining about her dwindling food supplies and hoping that Zhang Yi could give her some food. Zhang Yi replied by sending a photo of the lobster he was about to eat, making Fang Yuqing feel annoyed and disappointed. Fang Yuqing's best friend, who saw that, contacted Zhang Yi and said that Zhang Yi had made Yuqing sad and should take responsibility. Zhang Yi considered it a minor drama and replied coldly, which made Fang Yuqing's best friend annoyed as well. Fang Yuqing and her best friend started thinking about finding another man who would be easier to take advantage of. Fang Yuqing then contacted Cho Peng, one of the young men who was crazy about her. Cho Peng came right away, brought some food supplies, and said that it was all the food he had. Her best friend immediately closed the door without letting Cho Peng say anything more. Fang Yuqing didn't care about that and was only thinking about how to get back at Zhang Yi. 5 days passed and the snow kept falling heavier. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi seemed to enjoy his food, waiting for the big drama that was about to happen. When electricity and water were cut off, the apartment building's atmosphere grew gloomier. The residents started coming out of their homes, asking each other if they had any backup power sources. With the heaters no longer working, the chilling cold began to seep into the homes. Even under thick blankets, the cold felt like it could make someone freeze to death. On the other hand, Zhang Yi, who had just finished eating, calmly turned on the electric generator he had taken from the warehouse. The situation outside was already chaotic, and Tianlin, a member of the neighborhood committee, realized that survival now required any means necessary, shivered as he hugged his grandchild. He was shocked to read in the city authority group that the snowstorm was a global disaster affecting all cities. The message reminded everyone to immediately stock up on their supplies. Tianlin planned to take advantage of this situation, then sent a message to the apartment residents group, assuring them that this disaster was only temporary and that measures were being taken. He said that he had received orders from the neighborhood committee to organize the distribution of supplies. Therefore, all residents had to hand over all the supplies they had to him, so that they could be recorded and distributed evenly to everyone in the building. And anyone who did not comply would have to deal with the police. The notice from Tianlin triggered dissatisfaction, especially from Chen Zheng, who felt uncomfortable. However, he knew that police orders had to be obeyed. Zhang Yi remembered that Tianlin did the same thing in his previous life. Tianlin contacted Zhang Yi and told him to hand over his food immediately, since he had seen Zhang Yi buying a lot of food before the disaster and assumed he must have plenty. However, Zhang Yi replied sarcastically, claiming that he was also now out of food supplies. Hang Yi asked Tianlin to bring him instant noodles if he started gathering food. Tianlin almost fainted from anger after reading the message from Zhang Yi that ruined his plan. However, realizing that he and his grandson might depend on Zhang Yi in the future, Tianlin calmed himself down and began planning his next move. Food supplies became the most important thing, and he tried to take over the supplies from the other residents, hoping to deceive them. Not long after, Zhang Yi watched on his surveillance cameras as Tianlin successfully collected some supplies from the residents who trusted him. Zhang Yi felt that those who trusted Tianlin were foolish, because the weather would only get worse and food would become even scarcer. Some residents began to complain in the residents' group chat, questioning when the food distribution would take place, because they had already run out of food. Tianlin only paid attention to the messages from the residents without responding. He thought to himself that all these supplies belonged to him. When his grandson told him his phone was ringing, next, Lin was surprised to see that Chen Zheng was calling. Chen Zheng said he was impressed by Tianlin's cunning, but Tianlin reasoned that he couldn't share the food yet because he was still compiling the list. Chen Zheng didn't care and demanded that Tianlin hand over what he had immediately, or he and his men would take it themselves. Chen Zheng, along with his hungry companions, stormed Tianlin's house and roughly slapped the old woman's face. In the chaos, the law no longer applied. Zhang Yi, when he saw this incident through the surveillance camera, thought about sharing the footage in the building residents group to see their reactions. Tianlin begged them to leave some supplies for her and her grandson, but Chen Zheng kicked her instead. Tianlin's shocked grandson tried to protect his grandmother by stabbing one of Chen Zheng's men, but he was kicked until he lost consciousness, while the others laughed. Chen Zheng showed no mercy and believed that the old woman deserved to be treated that way because they were only carrying out justice. In the residents' group chat, some people supported Chen Zheng's actions, calling it the right way to deal with scammers like Tianlin. Zhang Yi, who read the comment, thought that person was foolish and didn't understand the real issue. Today, it was Tianlin's house. Tomorrow, it could be their own house being looted. However, for Zhang Yi, none of this was his problem. A moment later, Tianlin sent a message in the group saying that Dr. Yu was treating his grandson and he needed some medicine. Reading that message, Zhang Yi remembered Dr. Yu, a kind-hearted doctor he knew in his previous life who had saved many people. Tianlin kept asking for medicine in the building residents' group chat. His request was only met with sarcasm from the other residents, who didn't trust him or offer any help. Thank you. Those who witnessed this incident just thought it was karma. The snowstorm had lasted for more than a week, disrupting almost all activities and covering the lower floors with thick snow. Although Tianlin's grandson was rescued, he would not survive long in this condition. News about the global snowstorm, which happens once every 100,000 years, has spread throughout the world, with temperatures in some northern cities dropping to more than 100 degrees below zero. Many people tried to evacuate to the south, but many also froze to death on the way. Tianlin once again asked for help in the residents' group, revealing that his grandson had been hungry for 2 days and offering a high price to buy food. Some residents started selling instant noodles at high prices, as well as other foods at unreasonable prices. Zhang Yi, who was observing the situation, felt amused, seeing that they were unaware of the threat of a bigger disaster. Sometime later, Sun Hao, a wealthy man, started buying up food at high prices because he realized that money no longer meant anything in a situation like this. A single mother also asked for help, revealing that her daughter was almost dying of hunger. Zhang Yi recognized this woman from his past life, where she and her daughter survived for quite some time. 10 days after the freezing temperatures hit, Zhang Yi remained comfortable at home. While he was relaxing, his phone rang. As soon as he saw who was calling him, Zhang Yi smiled and answered the video call. Zhang Yi joked about how they looked thinner, while the two women were tempted by the amount of food Zhang Yi had. They asked how Zhang Yi still had so much food and why his apartment looked so warm. Zhang Wei explained casually that his house was very warm and even had a fireplace. Yu Qing was fascinated, hoping that Zhang Yi would invite her to his apartment soon. Zhang Yi firmly refused Yu Qing's request and made a sarcastic remark. Yu Qing felt insulted. Zhang Yi said that if Yu Qing needed food, she could ask for it from the rich men she usually took advantage of. Coldly, Zhang Yi hung up the phone. Yu Qing, feeling insulted, threw her phone on the floor. She realized that the man she once thought was foolish was now much smarter than she had imagined. Yu Qing's friend praised Zhang Yi. She thought that now Zhang Yi was better than the rich men they usually met. Yuqing and her friend eventually got into a physical fight. However, even though they fought, they still maintained their friendship. On the other hand, the government announced on television that the snow disaster was getting worse, and electricity would only be available at night with low voltage. The main power plant could no longer function, and everyone was asked to save energy. Now, everyone began to realize that this disaster would not end anytime soon. Still feeling upset with Zhang Yi, Yuqing picked up his phone and called Cho Peng, telling him how Zhang Yi tried to hurt his pride just because Zhang Yi had food. Hearing the story, Cho Peng, already burning with anger, called Zhang Yi a piece of trash. According to him, Zhang Yi had to be punished and confronted. Seeing Cho Peng's anger, Yuqing made things even worse by misleading Cho Peng into going to rob Zhang Yi's house. Not long after, the three of them were standing in front of Zhang Yi's door. Each of them hid a kitchen knife in their hand and began to knock on the door. Zhang Yi, who was monitoring everything through the surveillance camera, knew that the three of them were carrying weapons and intended to harm him. They knocked on the door and asked to exchange the medicine they brought for food. Zhang Yi, who was already annoyed by the attempted scam, decided to act aggressively. He grabbed a water hose with the intention of spraying them and ending the problem. However, when Zhang Yi saw the piled-up trash bins, a new idea came to his mind. He changed his plan in an unexpected way. With skills he somehow possessed, Zhang Yi began spraying dirty water from the hose toward the three people. As a result, they and their surroundings were covered in trash. Zhang Yi then said that this was the food they deserved and could eat. After that, Zhang Yi left them at the door and went to sleep, not feeling the slightest bit affected by their screams. That night, Zhang Yi woke up to the sound of loud gunshots. Even though he already knew that in the end, the law of the jungle would prevail, the sudden sound of gunshots still startled him. Quickly, Zhang Yi checked the surveillance camera footage on his tablet. He saw Chen Zheng and his men moving from house to house, stealing supplies from the residents. Those who became the targets of the theft seemed to be repeating Zhang Yi's misfortune from his previous life. Chen Zheng decided to send photos of his activities to the building residents' chat group, while declaring that he now controlled the entire building. Zhang Yi observed the situation as it developed. Then, a new chat group was created. Some residents began discussing Chen Zheng's actions in that chat group. They agreed to take immediate retaliatory action against Chen Zheng. One of the messages caught Zhang Yi's attention. The message was from Uncle Yu, who was also a military veteran. He proposed to lead the attack against Chen Zheng. The proposal received support from several residents. Uncle Yu suggested that they recruit strong young men to maintain security and prepare weapons. However, a woman in the group sent a voice message. She reminded them that Tian Lin had stolen from them some time ago and asked if they could trust Uncle Yu. Zhang Yi, who was sitting leisurely while occasionally eating, watched as Chen Zheng kept moving from house to house, seizing more supplies. If Chen Zheng was left unchecked, anyone who dared to oppose him would end up with a bullet in the head. That was unfair to everyone around him. The next morning, a resident who had previously refused to help Uncle Yu found Chen Zheng's group at his house. Shocked, the resident asked for help through the residents' group chat. His door was being forced open, and he knew he would be the next target. He was dragged out of his house, and misfortune befell him. Meanwhile, Yuqing and his friends felt anxious. They realized that they might be the next targets. They intended to rally people and join forces to seize Zhang Yi's house, hoping that by doing so, they could secure the supplies before it was too late. Zhang Yi was added to the new group and informed about the other residents' plan. However, Zhang Yi didn't care at all. He felt there was no need to join them. Then Zhang Yi decided to leave the group, which surprised Yuqing and the others. They couldn't imagine how the man who used to be considered a loser could now, in just 3 months, act so decisively. Feeling confused, they started discussing how to break into Zhang Yi's house and seize his supplies. One of the men wearing glasses suggested forcing the door open since his friend could crack the lock code. They agreed to try breaking the door lock and prepared umbrellas to avoid any splashing water or trash that might come out like before. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi, who was monitoring their movements through the surveillance cameras, activated the defense feature, which was high-voltage electricity. When the locksmith tried to open the door, he admitted that the lock couldn't be opened. Suddenly, his body was electrocuted by high-voltage electricity, and he died instantly. The man with glasses pointed at the door angrily, cursing and calling Yi a monster, and ordered him to come out. Zhang Yi took the bow and aimed it at the hidden hole in the door. The arrow shot from the hidden hole in the iron door hit the left arm of the man with glasses, making him scream in pain. 2 other people who tried to help were also hit by arrows. Meanwhile, Yu Qing and the others immediately ran away, returning to their home. When they arrived home, the 3 people who were injured by the arrows were lying on the floor, groaning in pain. In the midst of the chaos, one of the girls in the group slapped Yu Qing across the face, blaming him for the incident. The girl accused Yu Qing of not telling them that Zhang Yi had a weapon. Yu Qing defended himself by saying that he didn't know about it, because Zhang Yi had only sprayed them with water and trash before. Meanwhile, Cho Peng continued to defend Yu Qing as usual. The injured man with glasses immediately remembered the most important thing, which was to take care of their wounds. They contacted Dr. Yu Kier, who came to check the condition of the victims. After seeing the deep wounds, Dr. Yu Kier was shocked and explained that without adequate medical equipment, their chances of survival were no more than 20%. Moreover, the arrows used were already rusty, and without antibiotics, they would most likely die. The girl, who was a relative of the man, cried when she heard the bad news and blamed Zhang Yi, considering him to be a very cruel person who had deliberately trapped them. At that time, Dr. Yu Kier did not yet know who Zhang Yi really was. After giving a warning about the importance of getting medicine, Dr. Yu Kier reminded them to remove the arrow immediately. If not, their situation would only get worse. The man with glasses lying on the floor became increasingly panicked and shouted, asking Zhang Yi to quickly provide the necessary medicine to save them. Meanwhile, Yu Qing realized that Zhang Yi had changed a lot. She began to recall how Zhang Yi had started storing many items in his house recently. According to Yu Qing, they tried to rob his house, but failed and ended up getting hurt. Yu Qing blamed Zhang Yi for the incident. In the corner of the room, Dr. Yu Kier listened, feeling that the person actually deserved the consequences of their actions. One of the girls there was angry and urged Yu Qing to quickly persuade Zhang Yi to give them the medicine they needed. Even Cho Peng, who usually defended Yu Qing, now agreed with the demand, because without the medicine, they would all die. In the end, they agreed to contact Zhang Yi. The phone was picked up, and Yu Qing started crying, explaining that the wounded men were dying and hoping Zhang Yi could help. However, Zhang Yi coldly asked why he should help them. Then, the wounded man's sister took over the phone and said this was Zhang Yi's responsibility because he was the one who injured them with a rusty arrow. Zhang Yi replied coldly again, admitting that he deliberately used the arrow to make them suffer. He added that he wouldn't help, but Yu Qing could come and stay with him. Hearing that, Yu Qing grabbed the phone and said that he now belonged to Zhang Yi, who could do anything to him. Yu Qing's best friend asked Zhang Yi to bring them along, and Zhang Yi agreed, but only wanted Yu Qing. He asked Yu Qing to keep his distance from the others. Yu Qing was about to leave, but his friend tried to pull him back. Annoyed, Yu Qing pushed him away roughly until one of the women slapped him hard and called him a shameless woman. That made Yu Qing even angrier, and he tried to convince Cho Peng to help him get out of that situation and support his wish to be with Zhang Yi. Yu Qing gently said that he preferred Zhang Yi over Cho Peng, who looked dejected. As he was about to leave again, his best friend stopped him, reminding him that everything that happened was the result of his own actions, and that he didn't deserve to live happily on his own. Dr. Yu Kier reminded them that without medicine, their fate would surely be grim, then left. The man with glasses suggested spreading information about Zhang Yi's food supplies, and said that with the help of the building's residents, they could take over Zhang Yi's home and get the medicine. Yu Qing opposed the plan because it would ruin his relationship with Zhang Yi. However, another girl insisted that Yu Qing had no right to speak. Cho Peng, initially hesitant, agreed and shared Zhang Yi's photos and videos in the resident group, urging everyone to unite against Zhang Yi's selfishness. Chen Zheng and his men were soon tempted to loot and take revenge on Zhang Yi in the building. 25 residents chat group, Zhang Yi was flooded with requests. Some asked for food, some just wanted a single meal, and Aunt Lin asked for instant noodles. One mother even asked Zhang Yi to become her husband and the guardian of her child. In response to those requests, Zhang Yi only sent a voice message firmly stating that he would not feed them like pets and would not help anyone. Zhang Yi felt bored with his routine of just staying at home. He imagined enjoying the snowy scenery with his snowmobile. Suddenly, his phone rang, notifying him of a message from Dr. Yukir. In the message, Dr. Yukir informed him that their supply of medicine and food had run out and asked if Zhang Yi was willing to negotiate. Zhang Yi remembered Dr. Yukir's death in his previous life, who died because of his kindness. However, he knew that the smarter a person is, the more dangerous they become. Therefore, Zhang Yi sent a reply, stating that he would provide food and medicine supplies, but on the condition that Dr. Yukir had to exchange that help for information. Then, Yi replied, asking Dr. Yukir to become his spy and inform him about the plans of the other residents. If not, he would have to follow them and face the same fate. Dr. Yao Yukir fell silent, pondering whether this was the right decision. Zhang Yi asked Dr. Yao Yukir to come with useful information in exchange for food and medicine supplies. After careful consideration, Dr. Yao Yukir accepted the offer. Not long after that, the man with glasses sent a final threat to Zhang Yi, giving him one last chance to hand over the food supplies or face the consequences. Zhang Yi responded calmly, saying that his food supplies had just run out, which made the man even angrier. They planned to steal everything Zhang Yi had. Dr. Yao Yukir and Uncle Yu gave a warning to Zhang Yi, further convincing him that Dr. Yao Yukir was working with him. Zhang Yi prepared a defense plan and reminded Dr. Yukir to stay away from the crowd. At 2:30 in the morning, a group of armed residents attacked Zhang Yi's house, trying to break down the door. Watching through the surveillance camera, Zhang Yi activated the high-voltage device. The person near the door was shocked and knocked unconscious, while the survivors tried to retreat. However, they were blocked by Chen Zheng and his men, who forced them to keep breaking down the door or face death. The man with glasses reminded the residents to avenge their neighbor's death by killing Zhang Yi, while motivating them with the promise of a warm fireplace and plenty of food in Zhang Yi's house. Their spirits were lifted, and with a large piece of wood, they tried to break down his door. Zhang Yi, who was enjoying his wine, played fast-paced music through the sound system, as if adding rhythm to their struggle. After 20 minutes, the door was only slightly scratched, and the residents began to get tired. Without them realizing it, the door was made of very strong steel, equivalent to a bank vault door, almost impossible to destroy. When a resident tried to approach the door, Zhang Yi aimed with his bow and arrow, injuring the throat of the person who came near. His attack with the arrow made the other residents panic and retreat. Even though he had advanced technology as defense, Zhang Yi considered it legitimate for self-protection. After the residents were forced to retreat, the man with glasses who survived began to come up with a new plan. The residents realized that even though Zhang Yi's door was made of steel, the walls were only made of ordinary cement. They then started hitting the wall next to the door, and cracks began to appear. However, upon closer inspection, they were surprised to find a layer of steel behind the wall. The man with glasses, who was initially afraid to come closer, now mustered up the courage to check the condition of the wall. His surprise grew when he realized that the entire wall of the house was lined with steel. It was as if Zhang Yi had prepared this fortress to face situations like this. The residents tried various ways, even checking the apartments above and below Zhang Yi's home. However, steel covered almost the entire structure. They eventually felt hopeless, realizing that Zhang Yi had created a strong fortress that was almost impossible to penetrate without proper tools. Two residents looked at each other with hopeful eyes, but they quickly abandoned that malicious idea. One of them remembered that Zhang Yi's balcony was made of glass, and this gave them a new idea. Using wooden planks from the neighboring apartment, they reached Zhang Yi's balcony and tried to break in. The glass was bulletproof and explosion-proof, so their efforts were wasted, leaving them disappointed. Zhang Yi, who was sitting calmly inside, then helped them by throwing some Molotov cocktails through the hole in the wall. The bombs fell from the balcony above, hitting and burning the residents who had gathered there. In an instant, terror and panic swept through. One of them jumped to avoid the flames, while the others endured the spreading heat, feeling warmth but with unbearable suffering. The residents who tried to return to the neighboring apartment were blocked by others, afraid of being trapped in the blaze. Some fell from the wooden boards, while others used the heat to warm themselves a little. Zhang Yi just watched all the chaos calmly. The desperate residents came back to Zhang Yi's balcony, begging for food. Without any sympathy, Zhang Yi showed them a plate of warm pasta. enjoying their hopeful expressions. He then announced that anyone who brought Chen Zheng's head would receive a week's supply of food. Hearing that, the residents immediately stared at Chen Zheng, who quickly locked himself in the apartment next door. Chen Zheng's followers tried to protect him, but the tension kept rising. The next morning, some starving residents ambushed Chen Zheng and his followers, hoping to seize the food promised by Zhang Yi. The two residents who attacked Chen Zheng ended up lying helpless on the ground. Chen Zheng, the leader, ordered his men to keep them as a food reserve. However, the attack left Chen Zheng with a wound on his back, and he immediately called Dr. Yukir to treat him. While treating the wound, Dr. Yukir emphasized that his services were not free. Chen Zheng offered to share a meal with them as payment, but Dr. Yukir refused when he saw the pot filled with human meat, saying he would rather starve to death. Chen Zheng then promised that Yao Yukir would be the last one to be used as food. Although Dr. Yukir tried to leave, Chen Zheng held him back until his wound healed. Finally, Yao Yukir sat in the corner, while the other men continued with their plan to confront Zhang Yi. In the midst of the critical situation, Yao Yuking's friends were forced to remove arrows from their bodies without any medicine, enduring severe pain and infection. Cho Peng asked Yuking to try to persuade Zhang Yi. However, his sister felt it would be pointless. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi remained focused on his food, unconcerned with the chaos outside. Chen Zheng grew increasingly fearful of a possible attack and began to take brutal actions to survive. On the other hand, Dr. Yukir expressed his despair to Zhang Yi, telling him that Chen Zheng had lost his mind, raiding houses for food and even keeping corpses in reserve. Yao Yukir begged Zhang Yi to save him. Realizing the importance of having a doctor, Zhang Yi agreed to help Yao Yukir, giving him permission to come after finishing one last task. Not long after, Cho Peng came to ask for help for Yuking, who was starving. However, Zhang Yi only responded coldly, saying that Cho Peng's wounds were already too severe to be healed. On his way home, Cho Peng remembered that he had never touched Yuking's hand. In desperation, he ran to Yuking's room and begged to marry her. However, Yuking rejected him with disgust, making Cho Peng angry and threatening that they would get married in hell if Yuking kept refusing. Yuking slapped him, declaring that she belonged to Zhang Yi. Devastated, Cho Peng shouted that Zhang Yi would have to go to hell if he wanted to get Yuking. Meanwhile, Dr. Yukir promised to prepare a meal for Chen Zheng and his men. They thought Yukir had given in to the situation. However, secretly, Yukir added a sedative to the soup and served it. To gain their trust, he also took a portion and returned to his room. A few moments later, the sedative kicked in, making Chen Zheng and the others fall asleep. Yukir felt relieved because his plan worked. He then informed Zhang Yi that everyone had fallen asleep and that he was waiting for further instructions. Zhang Yi then asked him to move them all to the apartment balcony. Dr. Yukir anxiously followed Zhang Yi's instructions. As the atmosphere grew colder, he wondered if Zhang Yi really intended to kill them. In response, Zhang Yi threw a rope and said something along those lines. Yao Yukir then tied Chen Zheng and his men to the balcony railing, commenting that at least Zhang Yi was helping him. However, Zhang Yi said that he was the one testing Dr. Yao Yukir. Hesitantly, Yao Yukir took Chen Zheng's gun and, following Zhang Yi's instructions, removed the bullets before tossing the gun to Zhang Yi. After making sure, Zhang Yi went inside, grabbed the water hose, and started spraying the balcony. Yao Yukir took shelter inside the room, while the water soaking the balcony and the freezing temperature caused Chen Zheng and his men to turn into ice, trapped helplessly. Finally, exhausted, Yao Yukir contacted Zhang Yi and told him that everything was done. Dr. Yukir arrived at Zhang Yi's apartment and entered the room with obvious exhaustion. After making sure there were no hidden risks, Zhang Yi let him in, but warned that an inspection was still necessary. With a flushed face, Dr. Yukir understood what was being asked and followed Zhang Yi's instructions to make sure he wasn't hiding anything. After that, Zhang Yi told him to clean himself in the bathroom while he checked Dr. Yukir's medical equipment to ensure its safety. After showering, Dr. Yukir put on the pajamas given by Zhang Yi and sat quietly. Zhang Yi said that he could stay because of his expertise, but he had to follow the rules or face the consequences. Zhang Yi added that joining him was the best decision, and to build trust, he decided to reveal his big secret to Dr. Yao Yukir. Zhang Wei explained that in his house, Dr. Yao Yukir would not find any food supplies, because all of them were carefully hidden in a dimensional storage space. He warned that if Dr. Yao Yukir betrayed him, the supplies would disappear and Yao Yukir would starve. With that realization, Dr. Yao Yukir enjoyed the food given by Zhang Yi, and after he was full, he was assigned to take care of the household chores. Their relationship grew closer, and Dr. Yao Yukir secured a comfortable life with enough food. The next day, Zhang Yi saw Yao Yukir sleeping soundly. Yukir looked worn out. After a rough night. After breakfast together, Zhang Yi gave him a warm coat and invited him outside. This time, Zhang Yi handed him a club and gave him the final task: to smash the frozen bodies to make sure there was no threat left from Chen Zhang and his men. Dr. Yukir went out without hesitation and started smashing the frozen bodies, while Zhang Yi recorded every second of his work. The recording was deliberately made to show the residents group that Chen Zhang, who had been spreading terror, was now completely destroyed. The residents who watched the recording did not question the presence of Dr. Yao Yukir, and instead praised Zhang Yi, celebrating the victory. Zhang Yi felt satisfied with the result, but not long after, his phone rang. It was a call from Yu Qing, who turned out to still be alive. With a crazed tone, Yu Qing informed him that he had just heard about Chen Zhang's death. He thought Zhang Yi was with Dr. Yao Yukir because he assumed Yu Qing was already dead, but now Yu Qing was ready to be with Zhang Yi. Behind Yu Qing, his friends looked angry and ready to finish him off. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi and Yao Yukir heard the sounds of an argument there. Zhang Yi took the opportunity to mess with Yu Qing's mind by sending a photo of himself with Yao Yukir, while stating that Yao Yukir was his fiancée. As soon as he received the message, Yu Qing ran to his phone and saw the photo that broke his heart. In his madness, he shouted that he loved Zhang Yi more than anyone else. However, Zhang Yi coldly reminded him that he now loved Yukir, then hung up the phone. Yu Qing's friends, who were previously angry because he wanted to be with Zhang Yi and left them, now felt that Yu Qing's suffering was justified. Zhang Yi felt satisfied seeing that suffering, then asked Yukir if he was being too cruel. Yukir calmly replied that what Zhang Yi did was the right thing, considering that at first he only wanted to help. Meanwhile, in the building across, someone who could no longer bear living decided to jump from the balcony. However, the incident did not affect Zhang Yi and Yao Yukir at all. Not long after that, Zhang Yi's phone rang, and he heard Uncle Yu's voice, who sounded embarrassed. Zhang Yi felt relieved to hear that Uncle Yu was okay. Uncle Yu explained that he survived thanks to the supplies he had stored after Zhang Yi's previous warning. At the moment, he is with Shi Li Mei, a widow with a sick child who needs medicine. Zhang Yi decided to help Uncle Yu and told him to come and get the medicine. After informing Yao Yukir about Uncle Yu's whereabouts, Zhang Yi heard a knock at the door. Through the surveillance camera, he saw Uncle Yu and Shi Li Mei standing outside. Without opening the door, Zhang Yi threw the medicine through the gap in the door. Uncle Yu expressed his gratitude. However, Shi Li Mei asked for more, wondering why they couldn't come in while Dr. Yukir could. Zhang Yi explained that Yao Yukir was his fiancée, and that was the reason she was there. Hearing that, Yao Yukir's face blushed with embarrassment. Zhang Yi felt awkward, not wanting to hurt Uncle Yu, but prioritizing his own safety. Zhang Yi pretended that they had run out of coal and were only relying on 7 coats and blankets to stay warm. Uncle Yu finally felt annoyed, stating that the medicine was enough and they still had food supplies. After that conversation, Zhang Yi rested on Yao Yukir's lap while enjoying the view, but felt that Shi Li Mei's presence could interfere with his plans. When they arrived home, Uncle Yu asked why Shi Li Mei abused Zhang Yi's trust. Shi Li Mei argued that it was for her child's sake, but Uncle Yu reminded her that they owed Zhang Yi a lot. Shi Li Mei instead accused Zhang Yi of being selfish, giving medicine just to collect favors in the future. Uncle Yu, angered by the accusation, warned that his patience had limits, and if Shi Li Mei kept insulting Zhang Yi, she would end up alone. The woman finally chose to remain silent. The next day, in the morning, a group of people from the neighboring building dug a tunnel under the snow and entered Building 25, where Zhang Yi was. Everyone they encountered was considered an enemy, and the unfortunate resident they met first was immediately struck down. They found out about Zhang Yi's sturdy door and decided to bring dynamite to blow it up. One of them lit the dynamite, and the resulting explosion caused massive damage. The loud explosion woke up Zhang Yi, who quickly rushed to check the situation. Through the surveillance cameras, Zhang Yi saw the construction workers from the neighboring building coming to check the situation. They were sure that the explosion would damage the door. However, nothing happened. Angry at the person's attempt to take what he owned, Zhang Yi retaliated in a wicked way. Zhang Yi used grenades and Molotovs, which easily solved the problem and their problem with the cold. Zhang Yi used his Glock to take down several people who tried to take his supplies. The dwindling supply of bullets reminded Zhang Yi that the threat from the other building was getting closer. The explosions and gunfire made Yukir terrified. However, he tried to hide his fear and continued his work. Zhang Yi immediately took action. He explained in the residents' group chat that the explosion was caused by people from another building trying to blow up his home to rob him. He drove them away and protected some residents. Everyone thanked him for his decisive action. Zhang Yi then contacted Uncle Yu for more information. Uncle Yu told him that a group from Building 26, led by Huang Tianfang, attacked residents and stole food, similar to what Chen Zheng did. Zhang Yi said that they would definitely seek revenge, so they had to prepare and unite the residents to defend themselves. Zhang Yi talked to Yukir about his concern that the neighbors might stab him in the back. He assigned Yukir to gather information about the group from the other building together with Uncle Yu. 2 days later, Yukir, now dressed in a servant's uniform, reported that the strongest group controlling the neighborhood was the group from Building 26, followed by the group from Building 21. There are 2 other groups that are also strong, but they haven't taken any action yet. Zhang Yi concluded that the residents of the other buildings have already been fighting each other and are no longer a threat. He praised Yukir's work and asked him to keep gathering information. The group from Building 26 came back and attacked the residents in Zhang Yi's building, warning everyone would die as long as Zhang Yi remained. This news quickly spread and disturbed the couple's leisure time. The residents began urging Zhang Yi to take action. However, Zhang Yi angrily messaged them, saying their lives meant nothing to him and they should fend for themselves. Not long after that, Zhang Yi contacted Uncle Yu and told him that it was time for Uncle Yu to show his abilities. In the building residents group chat, Zhang Yi informed them that the group from Building 26 only consisted of 20 people, and if everyone united, they could fight them. The residents who were struggling to get food agreed to take action, realizing that Zhang Yi was the only one who was still strong and had the resources to lead them. Zhang Yi offered his help to face the group from Building 26 on the condition that everyone followed his orders. Everyone agreed, as long as it didn't endanger their lives. To motivate them, Zhang Yi gave them a tough choice. Take the risk or wait for the group from Building 26 to come and kill them all. With Uncle Yu's support encouraging them to follow Zhang Yi, the residents agreed to obey his orders. Zhang Yi also promised vehicles to go out and look for food, which further strengthened his position as a leader. Everyone finally agreed to follow Zhang Yi, hoping they wouldn't be killed by the neighboring group and would get food. Zhang Yi, who is now considered the leader by the residents of the building, decided to venture outside the building for the first time. Equipped with special cold weather clothing, he felt ready to face any challenge. When Yao Yukir wanted to join, Zhang Yi refused, asking Yao Yukir to stay and guard the apartment. Before leaving, Zhang Yi stored all the supplies in the apartment into his dimensional space. Zhang Yi jumped out of the 4th floor window, plunging through a pile of snow 4 stories high. Fortunately, he had a snowmobile in his dimensional space to help him on his journey. Upon arriving at the Tianhui City Center police station, Zhang Yi smashed the glass and entered to search for weapons and ammunition. Inside, he found officers who had frozen because they had no protection from the cold. Apparently, the first victims of the night the winter disaster struck. Zhang Yi respectfully covered their bodies and continued his search, where he found a key. With the key he found, Zhang Yi unlocked all the rooms in the police station, including the armory, which he considered a weapon paradise. He immediately gathered all the weapons and ammunition into his dimensional storage. After that, he realized the importance of food supplies for the people who depended on him. Zhang Yi continued his journey using a snowmobile, heading toward the shopping center. There, he dug through the building's roof, broke the glass, and gathered any food that could still be salvaged, even though most of it was already frozen. After packing up those items, he returned to his building. The leader of Building 26, who saw Zhang Yi's success, felt jealous and planned to seize his snowmobile. Zhang Yi's return with food was greeted with joy by the residents. Uncle Yu, who also witnessed his arrival, proudly called Zhang Yi a hero who had saved them. With food supplies and weapons in hand, Zhang Yi gave a firm order. Whoever took the food had to be ready to follow his instructions. Soon, a group from Building 26 came to seize the food, threatening to kill the residents if they didn't surrender. Zhang Yi ordered the residents to fight back, promising 5 days' worth of food to anyone who managed to defeat the enemy. The residents' morale surged, and they managed to defeat the attackers from Building 26. Zhang Yi and Yukir witnessed the victory, while some surviving enemy members fled. Many of their residents were injured, but Yao Yukir realized that treating them would drain their supplies of medicine and food, and Zhang Yi would not allow it. Zhang Yi cleverly took advantage of the situation, rewarding with food those who had proven valuable by defeating many enemies. This plan ensured that everyone stayed motivated and remained under Zhang Yi's complete control. One by one, the building's residents followed Zhang Yi's orders, as he stood firm with his weapon and controlled all the food supplies. Their faces did not look happy. When Su Hao, the lazy man, complained about the unfairness of the food distribution, Zhang Yi kicked a piece of candy toward him. Su Hao, who protested, fell silent after being reminded by Zhang Yi. The residents who were initially disappointed started to feel better after seeing that Su Hao had it worse. Su Hao, who felt he was being treated unfairly, tried to defend himself. However, Zhang Yi emphasized that only results are valued. Without mercy, Zhang Yi made Su Hao an example, ordering 2 residents to restrain him, then beating him in front of the others. Zhang Wei emphasized that food would be proportional to work, and without work, there would be no rations. After that, Zhang Yi ordered Yao Yukir to store the remaining supplies. Soon, Fang Yuqing and another friend arrived looking weak, claiming they hadn't received any food. Zhang Yi remembered them, but immediately ordered Yao Yukir to store the supplies, because the available food was not enough for both of them. Fang Yuqing wept, questioning Zhang Yi's apparent indifference after all their years together. In response, Zhang Yi gave a hard slap and emphasized that he never liked him, and now he was engaged to Yao Yukir, who was more valuable. Another woman accused Fang Yuqing of being a loose woman, and Zhang Yi agreed, saying she always took advantage of rich men for her own benefit. Su Hao also admitted to having slept with Fang Yuqing several times, and the other men joined in mocking her. The insults Fang Yuqing received made her run away, while her weak friend was not spared from a bad fate either. 2 men dragged her to an unthinkable place. As a reward for his report, Su Hao received better food and promised to be more loyal to Zhang Yi. After the incident, Zhang Yi strengthened the building's defenses by dividing the 47 residents into 6 teams. Each team took turns guarding the stairs. Uncle Yu, who had military experience, was responsible for organizing the teams. As time passed, Zhang Yi carefully prepared weapons, explaining to Yao Yukir that this winter disaster would last for a month, with the greatest threat coming from other people. With a sniper rifle stored in his dimensional space, Zhang Yi was ready to face enemies without leaving his shelter. Outside, he saw several people approaching the garage. It seemed they intended to take the snowmobile, which had actually already been secured in his storage space. Uncle Yu reported to Zhang Yi that the defense team had been well organized. He also mentioned what the talkative Cixi Limei had said, reminding Zhang Yi not to take her too seriously. Zhang Yi sarcastically asked if Uncle Yu wanted to care for someone else's child, noting strong men are especially valuable now. However, after noticing Uncle Yu's discomfort, Zhang Yi mentioned that Cixi Limei is a good woman and suggested that Uncle Yu should have a child of his own if that's the case. Uncle Yu reminded him that during the winter disaster, there was no time for such thoughts and refocused him on his duties. Zhang Yi pondered, then reminded Yao Yukir that the matter of descendants needs to be considered with care. Thank you. Some people from Building 26 tried to sneak into Building 25 to steal. One of them was almost beaten up by the guard. When cries of an enemy attack rang out, a fierce fight broke out on the building's stairs. The group from Building 26 was surprised by the strong defense system of Building 25. So they eventually retreated and ran away. From a distance, Zhang Yi observed them. He felt tempted to fire a warning shot at their futile attempt, while enjoying the comfort of the life he had carefully arranged. Zhang Yi took out a sniper rifle from the storage room and calmly shot a resident of Building 26 who was trying to escape, right in the head. His friends, seeing their companion fall, became even more panicked and ran in all directions. Zhang Yi felt immense satisfaction with every accurate shot. Killing 7 people in an instant, Zhang Yi was sure he had sent a strong message to the residents of the other buildings that he, the leader of Building 25, had a rifle and no one could oppose him. Everyone had to follow his orders. The next day, Yao Yukir came bringing food and asked about the sounds from the balcony the previous night. Zhang Wei explained that he had shot and killed 7 people. Yao Yukir simply admired Zhang Yi's abilities without excessive curiosity, feeling safe by his side. Zhang Yi praised Yao Yukir's intelligence and appreciated him. Meanwhile, the residents of Building 26 looked in horror at the bodies lying in the snow, including the relative of their leader, Tian Fan. This incident caused them to lose an important person and their food supplies. Angrily, Tian Fan ordered them to bring back the bodies of his relative and the others, even though it meant further depleting their dwindling food supplies. Zhang Yi went out again with full confidence, convinced that everyone in the building now respected and feared him. With his headphones on and his comms linked to Uncle Yu, he felt his building was safe while he was away. On the other hand, the leader of Building 26 could only feel envious, wishing for Zhang Yi's motorcycle so he could search for food. However, the group sent to steal the motorcycle was shot instead. Riding his snowmobile, Zhang Yi quickly headed to the area where imported machines and cars were stored. After breaking through the roof of the large warehouse, he quickly slid down a rope and gathered everything useful, storing it in his unlimited storage space. Although the luxury car isn't valuable right now, Zhang Yi hopes that it will be useful someday. Next, he headed to the gas station to collect fuel. However, the entire gas station was buried under 10 meters of snow, making it impossible to dig out. Zhang Yi felt weak after failing to get fuel and lay down in the snow, thinking about how valuable gasoline was for his machines. However, he soon realized that he actually already had fuel and even a giant excavator. With the little fuel he had left, Zhang Yi dug a path through the snow and managed to open access to the gas station. There, he found a fuel storage tank that fortunately hadn't frozen. Carefully, he sealed the tank and stored it in his unlimited storage space. He then realized that with the excavator and this fuel, he could dig and access anything buried under the snow without any obstacles. Meanwhile, in the apartment building, a resident's child had a high fever. Yukir tried to take care of him, but it was difficult because Zhang Yi kept all the medicine. Uncle Yu then gave the leftover medicine from Sili Silime's child and tried to calm Yibu, who finally saw the child's fever subside. After giving the treatment, Dr. Yukir reminded Zhang Yibu to keep monitoring his child's condition. However, not long after, a scream was heard, and Aunt Lin attacked the baby. Zhang Yibu was seriously injured while trying to protect his son. Although Dr. Yukir managed to save the baby, Aunt Lin, who had lost control, accused them of not helping her grandson and said that no child deserved to live in this place. With strong determination, Yukir ran up the stairs as fast as he could to save the baby. However, Aunt Lin managed to grab his leg, causing the doctor to fall. Uncle Yu arrived just in time and kicked Aunt Lin, causing her to fall down the stairs. For Uncle Yu, protecting people, especially Zhang Yi's wife, was a duty he had to fulfill. Aunt Lin, who was still furious, refused to accept the reality. However, Uncle Yu explained that their safety was thanks to Zhang Yi's actions in getting rid of Chen Zheng. Yukir then revealed that after Chen Zheng left, he had begged Zhang Yi to give medicine to Aunt Lin's grandson. However, when he arrived with the medicine, he found that Aunt Lin had killed her grandson in order to survive. Aunt Lin screamed in anger, but the male residents who came with Uncle Yu agreed that her actions could not be tolerated. They whispered that Aunt Lin's fat body would make a blazing bonfire. Meanwhile, outside the building, Zhang Yi came out of the tent he had set up near the gas station, getting ready to continue his exploration. With heavy equipment from his storage space, Zhang Yi dug and managed to open access to the city's military base. However, all the military supplies had already been depleted. He suspected that the military leaders might have planned to control what was left of society with their equipment. Therefore, Zhang Yi felt the need to arm himself to protect himself from them. As he continued digging, Zhang Yi accidentally collapsed a wall and discovered an untouched armory. Quickly, he put all the weapons and ammunition into the storage space. After being outside for quite a while, he returned to the building with his snowmobile, but without bringing any food. His return empty-handed quickly caused some of the building's residents to complain. Zhang Yi responded to the complaints firmly, saying that he hadn't found anything all day, and if they weren't satisfied, they could look for food themselves. Going without food for a single day made them feel unfairly treated. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi's work guarding the building had been ignored. Even so, some of the residents approached him, urging him to take them to look for food together, so that he could get more rest. A strange man with a hidden knife approached Zhang Yi with his friend, trying to negotiate. However, with a hand gesture, Zhang Yi made the man fall with a head injury. His friends immediately apologized, but Zhang Yi shot them without hesitation until 4 of them fell motionless, while the rest escaped through the window. The commotion attracted Uncle Yu and Yao Yukir, who immediately came over anxiously. Zhang Yi judged them as traitors who deserved punishment. However, he showed mercy. Zhili Li Mei, who witnessed the incident, realized that Zhang Yi's mercy was merely a warning so that others would not dare to repeat such actions. Zhang Yi went home without any sign of being affected. Zhang Yi thought that the number of expendable people he could use was decreasing. When he got home, Zhang Yi asked Yao Yukir if anything had happened while he was away. Yao Yukir explained that Aunt Lin went mad after her grandson's death and attacked a mother. However, the problem has been resolved. In addition, Chen Ling Yu from another building wanted to talk to him and expressed a desire to cooperate. Zhang Yi was curious about Chen Ling Yu's request and asked Yao Yukir for information about her. It turned out that Chen Ling Yu used to own a cosmetics company and now controls Building 9, an extraordinary achievement for a woman. Yao Yukir suggested that Zhang Yi speak directly with Chen Ling Yu, who had already contacted him along with the other building leaders. Zhang Yi contacted Chen Ling Yu via text to ask about the purpose of her visit. Chen Ling Yu revealed that they knew about Zhang Yi, his snow vehicle, and his abilities. He offered 76 workers who could use Zhang Yi's snow vehicle to search for food, on the condition that Zhang Yi provide the food supplies first. Chen Ling Yu also warned that all the surrounding buildings would soon go against Zhang Yi, so it would be wiser to form an alliance. Feeling displeased with the veiled threat, Zhang Yi asked what would happen if he refused. Chen Ling Yu explained that if he refused, Zhang Yi would become the target of attacks from all the united buildings. Zhang Yi asked for time to think and hung up the phone, reflecting that even though his building was safe, if all the buildings united, his building could be destroyed. Zhang Yi received a call from Li Jian, the leader of Building 18, who offered cooperation. Li Jian revealed that Building 18 had been successfully restored, with the residents working together to share resources. He was willing to help Building 25 fight against other buildings in exchange for the supplies they needed. After asking Yao Yukir, Zhang Yi learned that although Building 18 had united, their resources were limited due to the large number of residents. Zhang Yi felt he needed time to think about the decision. However, several messages came in on his phone, and he told Yao Yukir that he might have to kill all those people. In his heart, Yao Yukir felt satisfied with his choice to join Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi then asked Yao Yukir's opinion on whether they should work together or destroy everything. Yao Yukir was also asked to cut the bulletproof body armor to be attached to Zhang Yi's legs. Zhang Yi's plan was becoming clearer. He told the residents of Building 25 that the neighbors threatened to attack if the snow vehicle was not handed over. If that happened, each resident would have to find food on their own. Hearing that, all the residents of Building 25 supported Zhang Yi and were ready to fight. Sometime later, Zhang Yi was invited into the group chat of the neighboring building leaders. In the building leaders group chat, the other leaders threatened Zhang Yi, stating that if he refused their demands, he would become the common enemy of all the buildings. They put forward all their conditions, hoping that Zhang Yi would follow their wishes. However, Zhang Yi had a brilliant plan. He agreed to cooperate, but with a long-term strategy to bring down all those leaders. Because without leaders, the other inhabitants would not be able to unite against him. Zhang Yi coordinated actions with his followers in the building, providing them with quality food and motivation to keep them strong. He assured them that if everything went smoothly, there would be no more food problems in that place. The residents were fired up. They began to idolize Zhang Yi as their savior, ready to do anything for him. Zhang Yi decided to leave through the tunnel with all the residents, heading to the meeting place. However, from a distance, he felt something was strange because there were many people gathering there. He ordered Uncle Yu and the other residents to join in, while he himself stayed hidden, preparing a long-range rifle. At the meeting location, Uncle Yu and the residents stood facing the leaders of the neighboring buildings and their groups. One of the residents revealed that they didn't seem to intend to negotiate, but rather wanted to destroy them. Uncle Yu explained that the goal of the groups from buildings 26, 5, 21, 9, and 18 was to get Zhang Yi to cooperate, because attacking his group would not yield any results. They felt confident, believing that even though Zhang Yi was intimidating, it would be impossible for him to win against so many people. One of the leaders even thought that Zhang Yi must be scared seeing how many of them there were. The situation seemed to be in their favor. Tianfang shouted for Zhang Yi to come out and negotiate immediately. Uncle Yu reminded them that a leader would only meet with another leader, so they had to come closer. Chenling and the others questioned their courage, challenging them by asking if they weren't afraid of dying. The situation grew more tense, and Zhang Yi contacted Uncle Yu, warning them to stay away from the other group. Thinking quickly, Uncle Yu asked the other group to step back for a moment to give some space. With enough distance, Zhang Yi signaled with a whistle, and in an instant, a grenade was thrown into the middle of the enemy group. A huge explosion destroyed the area behind the leaders, sending devastation all around them. Uncle Yu stood behind the leaders, put the call on speaker, and asked if they still had any questions for Zhang Yi. Wang Cheng was shocked and asked why Zhang Yi used violence. Zhang Yi, who had already returned to his building, asked over the phone why more than 1,000 people came just for negotiations and gave a 5-minute deadline. If they didn't agree to come to Building 25, everything would be over. Chen Ling represented the leaders and accepted the terms. Zhang Yi felt satisfied after one explosion eliminated more than 20 people. It was enough to have an effect on the leaders of the neighboring buildings. They hurriedly climbed the stairs of the building without an elevator. They looked exhausted. Zhang Yi made sure all the leaders were present before starting the meeting. During the meeting, the leaders put forward their conditions regarding cooperation with Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi, who was not satisfied, took out a pistol and placed it on the table, explaining that the weapon was uncomfortable at his waist. The discussion continued, and the leaders remained stubborn. Zhang Yi rejected all their demands and offered 10 portions of food per day for each building. Food distribution was their business. Chen Ling, who felt that the amount was not enough, demanded more. However, Zhang Yi firmly stated that this was the final offer. They could either accept it or choose war. In a deadlocked situation, Tianfang took control. He stated that Chen Ling did not represent everyone and that they wanted to accept Zhang Yi's offer, but only if they received enough food. Zhang Yi responded by cocking his pistol, questioning whether the amount of food he offered was too little. Li Zhang, who was calmer, suggested discussing things instead of threatening each other. Zhang Yi put his feet on the table and asserted that food could not be obtained in unlimited amounts. He then threw a handful of seeds onto the table, saying that they had to start growing their own food. Tianfang asked how they could plant in the snow, and Zhang Yi explained that there was still soil beneath the snow, and water would not be a problem. Each building had to send people to dig and plant every day. In return, Zhang Yi would provide 10 portions of food as well as medicine, drinks, and cigarettes. 2 smokers among them immediately agreed to the terms, as long as they could get cigarettes. Zhang Yi took out cigarettes from his pocket and gave them to them. While smoking, they confirmed the agreement, with each building receiving 1 pack of cigarettes every day. Li Jian was about to speak. However, the other 2 building leaders immediately agreed to Zhang Yi's terms, as long as they could smoke every day. The other 3 leaders were pressured by Zhang Yi's weapon threat, with one leader eventually urging the others to accept, while the 2 who had already agreed left no room for further discussion. Now, they just wanted to please him. Zhang Yi, who was standing by the window, saw residents from several buildings starting to move, indicating a potential threat. With his gun pointed at the leaders, Zhang Yi asked what was happening. Wang Qian, who already supported Zhang Yi, assured him that there was no reason for an attack. Li Jin stated that if an attack happened, it would be their own doing. Zhang Yi told Uncle Yu and the others to watch the leader of the neighboring building. After that, Zhang Yi took out a long-range rifle and shot the rebel leaders one by one. The atmosphere became silent, and the leaders in the room looked terrified. A few minutes later, Zhang Yi confirmed that the situation was under control and asked if they agreed with the outcome of the negotiation. The 2 leaders who had already agreed were followed by the others, while Li Jian had no other option but to agree. After everyone agreed, Zhang Yi informed them that the cooperation would begin tomorrow afternoon. Before leaving the room, Zhang Yi reminded Li Jian to do his job well, because he would continue to monitor them. After leaving the building, the leaders looked anxious, sparking the curiosity of the residents. Zhang Wei explained that he was the one controlling the situation and had agreed to provide 300 meals every day for them. Some residents felt dissatisfied and asked why it had to be that many. Zhang Yi replied that without this agreement, they would have to fight more than 1,000 enemies from the neighboring building, which would result in many deaths. Therefore, he chose to give the food to Dan for their safety. The residents were touched and cried, realizing that only Zhang Yi could lead and take good care of them. After everyone left, only Uncle Yu remained. Uncle Yu felt ashamed because things did not go as he had hoped. Zhang Yi then invited Uncle Yu to have a more private conversation and revealed his plan. Actually, he planned to eliminate the leaders of the neighboring building all at once. However, only the 5 most influential leaders were targeted, and the plan was postponed. If those 5 leaders fall, the others will be more motivated to destroy Building 25. Uncle Yu now understands and is impressed by Zhang Yi's ability to plan everything thoroughly. Zhang Yi emphasized that for now, they just need to wait for the right time, because the residents of the neighboring building will weaken over time, and with only 300 meals, they will destroy themselves. Zhang Yi also asked Uncle Yu not to tell anyone about this. Zhang Yi returned home and found Yao Yukir practicing yoga, reflecting how tough their lives were in the middle of winter. After completing various tasks, Yao Yukir asked about the results of Zhang Yi's negotiation. Zhang Wei explained that in the next few days, there was one main task he had to do. After that, he quickly threw Yao Yukir onto the bed and warned him not to leave the house for the next few days. On the next very cold morning, the residents who had agreed worked to dig the ground up to a depth of 10 meters to plant the seeds. Zhang Yi briefly checked on the progress of the work, then went to look for his snow vehicle. The other 2 leaders who were also searching for the vehicle complained because they couldn't find it. They wondered where Zhang Yi had hidden it. Zhang Yi went to look for a veterinary clinic to get poison that was usually used to put down animals that couldn't be saved. With that supply of poison, he was confident he could incapacitate up to 300 people who wouldn't be able to be treated. The poison was expected to be very useful in the future. After that, Zhang Yi returned home and made sure his building was fully stocked. Everyone was impressed by how many things he had managed to get. He contacted the other buildings to collect their food rations as agreed, sending 3 people from each building to pick them up, anticipating an ambush. Gradually, the 30 apartment buildings began to collect their first day's food, and everyone seemed happy. As Zhang Yi left the place, he heard complaints from residents who were tired after working, but felt their efforts were worth it. Without a grand plan, everything went smoothly. When he arrived at his home, Zhang Yi found his place was always tidy, and everything he needed was there. He could enjoy a hot shower every day. Thank you. In another building, Wang Qian checked if there were any cigarettes, which were immediately distributed to his subordinates who felt uneasy without them. After that, they started thinking about food. Wang Tian gave permission to eat, but he was still worried whether the food contained poison. His group felt safe with the food they received, while the other residents were still waiting for their share. That night, there was an argument in the neighboring building about the distribution of food. Zhang Yi and Yu Qier enjoyed their meal calmly. The next day, everyone was busy digging the ground. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi warned that tension from food shortages could trigger conflicts. He set out using a snowmobile to look for more food, but the results were minimal. Zhang Yi told everyone that searching for food was very uncertain, and they should be content with what they had. He planned to accelerate the internal conflicts that were starting to emerge. On the same day, several buildings began to evict their residents to reduce the number of people who needed to be fed. Zhang Yi enjoyed the comfort of his home, while chaos unfolded outside. The next day, he saw the results of his plan. Dozens of people had been evicted, and the apartment buildings were full of traces of fights. Some people asked if they should keep digging, and Zhang Yi firmly reminded them that if they didn't want to end up like those who had fallen, they had to continue. Everyone immediately got to work digging through the snow. Supervised by Zhang Yi, Uncle Yu noticed how few people were working, while Zhang Yi's team remained active. The message had been delivered that anyone who didn't work wouldn't get food or cigarettes. The next day, more people worked, even though they knew the food was limited. While the corpses were being transported as food supplies, Chenling approached Zhang Yi, looking worried and wanting to discuss the ongoing chaos. Chenling was worried about the dwindling food supplies, which could trigger divisions among the building's residents. He suggested that he and Zhang Yi look for a scientific solution to the food problem, even expanding their territory to form a kingdom. However, Zhang Yi accused Chenling of trying to seize power and blamed his leadership for causing many deaths. Zhang Yi rejected the offer and suggested that Chen Ling stay away. Even though other buildings were caught in chaos, Li Jian's building remained safe, with all its residents living and working. Zhang Yi felt that something was being hidden and went to meet Li Jian. Li Jian explained that all the residents knew about the limited food supply agreement and shared it equally. Zhang Yi joked that everyone would starve equally. Zhang Yi suggested that Li Jian choose the strongest person to get more food. But Li Jian chose to protect everyone, even if they would all starve together. After that, Zhang Yi met with two corrupt leaders who did not complain about the food. He offered help, but in his mind, Zhang Yi was more sympathetic to those who took advantage than to those who tried to help everyone and remained honest. Several leaders from other buildings approached Zhang Yi, begging to get cigarettes like Wang Qian and Tian Fang. Those who were already satisfied with a little food now wanted to enjoy the comfort of cigarettes. Zhang Yi told them that starting tomorrow, everyone would be monitored, then told them to leave. Some of the residents of the neighboring building were dissatisfied with the decision. Feeling that they also deserved more, Zhang Yi left them while sowing envy among the other residents. When he arrived home, Zhang Yi felt that everything was going smoothly and knew that soon the residents outside would be lying in the snow. The next morning, he searched for more food and used the poison he had prepared earlier. His plan worked, although he began to doubt whether the leaders would turn against him. Even though he felt safe with his power and weapons, Zhang Yi decided to take further action. After returning with more food, he asked Uncle Yu and the others to guard and protect him. The leaders came to take their share of the food. However, their expressions looked strange. When it was Building 21's turn, Zhang Yi was shocked when they shouted to attack and drew their weapons. Gunshots were heard, and Uncle Yu, the only one Zhang Yi trusted, stepped forward to protect him. However, enemies from other buildings tried to kill Zhang Yi, convinced that he was unarmed. Without hesitation, Zhang Yi pulled out an automatic machine gun and started shooting indiscriminately. Even though there were many enemies, Zhang Yi's gunfire rendered them powerless. A group of traitors tried to escape, but they all fell with shots to the head. When he ran out of bullets, Zhang Yi pulled out two more pistols. Leader Wang and Tian Fang begged for mercy, but Zhang Yi showed no mercy. In the end, Chen Ling swore he wasn't involved and mentioned his daughter. However, Zhang Yi shot him without compassion. After defeating all his enemies, Zhang Yi felt a bit guilty, but realized that his enemies couldn't be allowed to live. Behind him, corpses were lying everywhere. However, Uncle Yu was still alive. Zhang Yi quickly grabbed an adrenaline injection and injected it into Uncle Yu's chest. Two people from Building 25 were asked to help carry him to the building so he could be treated by Dr. Yao Yukir. On the way, Shi Li Mei anxiously saw how serious her husband's condition was. She was worried that Uncle Yu would die and that she wouldn't be able to survive without his protection. Zhang Yi was angry at her attitude of being too focused on personal gain and told her to be quiet. Shi Li Mei revealed that if Uncle Yu died, she hoped Zhang Yi would take care of their child. Zhang Yi was confused as to why she had already given up on Uncle Yu's condition, as if she wanted the man to die. Shi Li Mei cried, worried about losing her husband. When they arrived home, Zhang Yi told them to leave. However, Shi Li Mei insisted on going in. After the door opened, warmth greeted them, and Shi Li Mei cried with happiness. She went to the kitchen and asked about the powdered milk, which immediately made Zhang Yi angry. Shi Li Mei said that the powdered milk was for her child, and Uncle Yu loved her very much. Zhang Wei emphasized that Uncle Yu is the top priority right now. He then took a hospital bed out of the dimensional warehouse, which made Shi Li Mei very surprised. However, Zhang Yi ignored her. He asked Yao Yukir if there were any other medicines or equipment needed. Yao Yukir checked Uncle Yu's condition and found damage to his internal organs caused by the bullet. Saving him seemed impossible. Shi Li Mei cried and screamed, which made Zhang Yi angry and warned her not to disturb them again. Shi Li Mei finally left the room. Even though her intention was to go out and enjoy some food and warm water, Zhang Yi told her to stay and help, reminding her that her presence was important for Uncle Yu. After that, Zhang Yi went down to the first floor and gathered the residents of Building 25. He informed them that Uncle Yu might not survive and that it was time to take action. With only a few residents, Zhang Yi asked them to be ready to attack anyone who came out of the building. Any residents who did not join would be considered traitors. Zhang Yi also prepared warm clothes for them. Zhang Yi's group arrived in front of Building 21. The residents on the upper floors fell silent, some of them frightened. realizing that Zhang Yi could easily wipe them out with a machine gun. Some felt safe inside the building. Zhang Yi ordered his men to guard all exits and windows, then entered the building. In the lobby, Zhang Yi gathered wood and clothes from the dimensional warehouse, poured gasoline, and lit a match. The fire quickly engulfed the entire lobby. Smoke spread to the upper floors, causing the residents to panic and try to open the frozen windows. Without tools, they failed to do so. After leaving the building, Zhang Yi gave instructions to let no one escape. The fire grew larger, and many residents jumped into the snow, although some were seriously injured. A woman, without any mercy, stabbed a knife into the body of one of the fallen victims, shocking the men around her. A bit uneasy, the woman's boyfriend asked if she was okay. However, the woman seemed cheerful and enjoyed the incident, considering it part of her job. Every time someone fell and was still breathing, he immediately helped so they wouldn't suffer any longer. Within a few minutes, Building 21 was destroyed. Zhang Yi then led his group toward Building 26, which was led by Tian Fang. Residents of Building 26 panicked after seeing what happened to Building 21 and shouted they didn't support Tian Fang and were innocent. Zhang Yi ignored them, saying it didn't matter, and set the building on fire. 5 other buildings were also burned to drive away the cold. After that, Zhang Yi told the other residents that the innocent would be spared. Some felt relieved. Zhang Yi ordered a temporary halt. After enduring the cold, his followers warmed themselves by the fire using fuel taken from the burned building. Zhang Yi then checked the phones of his 2 most loyal followers and found conversations revealing that Fang Yao Yuqin had incited people to go against him. After dealing with the rebellion in the building, Zhang Yi went home to check on Uncle Yu. The steady heartbeat showed that Uncle Yu was safe. Zhang Yi felt relieved and satisfied with Yukir's work. Si Li Mei approached and asked for food for herself and her child. Zhang Yi was annoyed, throwing a pack of instant noodles on the floor and saying that was enough. However, Si Li Mei complained, asking for more because she saw eggs and chicken in the kitchen. Zhang Yi became even angrier and insisted that it was only instant noodles or she wouldn't get anything. Zhang Yi then went with Yukir to their room. Exhausted, Zhang Yi massaged Yukir, who told him that Uncle Yu's recovery was very fast. This made Zhang Yi think that the supernova explosion might give power to people under certain conditions, like himself and Uncle Yu. Zhang Yi concluded that a critical condition might trigger the awakening of this ability. He decided to tell Yao Yukir to keep Uncle Yu asleep until the right moment. Zhang Yi went to the living room and saw Li Mei looking for food. He told her that all the supplies were in storage, then asked her to take care of Uncle Yu. Li Mei then went to her husband's room. Zhang Yi then intended to pursue the other traitors. With a police shield in hand, he went up the stairs, shot the door lock, and forced the door open. Fang Yuqing attacked with a knife, but the knife bounced off and Fang Yuqing fell down. Zhang Yi saw this and realized how Fang Yuqing had managed to survive for so long. Fang Yuqing got angry, blamed Zhang Yi, and said she would have agreed to be with him if Zhang Yi had stayed weak. Zhang Yi didn't say much. He immediately hit her leg with a bat, breaking her bone and pulled her hair. After that, he threw Fang Yuqing from the upper floor. Fang Yuqing's body was seen lying in the snow, motionless. The next day, Zhang Yi checked on Uncle Yu. He was surprised to see how quickly Uncle Yu was recovering. In just one day, his gunshot wound had healed. Zhang Yi asked Yao Yukir to continue monitoring Uncle Yu's condition until he fully recovered, making sure everything went well. Yao Yukir gave Uncle Yu a sedative, while Si Li Mei asked Zhang Yi to go to her house to get a phone charger and baby diapers. Zhang Yi, who believes that people in a coma can hear what's around them, was kind to Si Li Mei and said he would go after finishing a few things. After that, Zhang Yi went out to set more buildings on fire, thinking this needed to be done to eliminate the threat. Su Hao, who had been beaten earlier, offered valuable information about Wang Ximen, the richest man in the city who built an underground shelter called Do Oms Dai. They went to the apartment to talk further, and Su Hao explained that Wang Ximen had an unlimited food supply in his shelter. Su Hao proposed robbing the place, but Zhang Yi considered the idea very risky. Su Hao reassured Zhang Yi by saying that Wang Ximen already knew about him, and had even tried to steal Zhang Yi's snowmobile. Zhang Yi got angry, stared sharply at Su Hao, and threatened him by asking Su Hao how he wanted to die. Zhang Yi stared at the frightened Su Hao, who swore he would not betray him and wanted to help. To give a warning, Zhang Yi fired a shot beside Su Hao's head, asking why he should be allowed to live. Su Hao explained that the mansion had plenty of food supplies, and he wanted to join Zhang Yi to get a share. In addition, Su Hao wanted to take revenge on Wang Simon, his old friend who always humiliated him. Zhang Yi was interested in the idea of revenge and gave him a chance. He asked about the security system of Mianshan and the number of enemies there. However, Su Hao would only provide information if there was an agreement first. Zhang Yi threatened him, but Su Hao remained firm. He said that threats would not change the outcome. Zhang Yi finally agreed to negotiate, but reminded him that there were two conditions. First, Su Hao must help eliminate someone who has been bothering Zhang Yi all this time. Zhang Yi then took Su Hao to an apartment. He told him that he had a secret to share. Zhang Yi calmly took out a suitcase, making Su Hao scared and confused. However, Su Hao realized that joining Zhang Yi would guarantee his survival, so he accepted the risk. Zhang Yi took out a syringe and revealed that he was a professional assassin. He used a poison that would take effect in a week as a guarantee. After they took over Wang Simon's shelter, Zhang Yi promised to give the antidote. Zhang Yi told Su Hao that they would eliminate someone that day. However, when he was alone, Zhang Yi revealed that the liquid was just a saline solution. It was a strategy to reduce the possibility of betrayal. Zhang Yi went home and found Si Li Mei with Uncle Yu. He told Uncle Yu his condition was improving and promised to care for the three of them like family, saying they would live together there. Si Li Mei was happy to hear Zhang Yi's promise and handed her baby to him. She thought that with Bai and Uncle Yu here, Zhang Yi would not drive her away. Meanwhile, Zhang Yi told Su Hao that his target had already left and asked Su Hao to handle his problem. When Zhang Yi was playing with Bai, Si Li Mei headed to the door of her house. She was surprised to find someone already there. Su Hao sent a message that the problem had been resolved. At home, Zhang Yi told Uncle Yu that Si Li Mei and her baby would be staying there. However, Uncle Yu felt this was too much and didn't want to trouble Zhang Yi any further. At that moment, the baby started crying. Zhang Yi was confused about how to take care of Si Li Mei's baby. Then he handed the baby to Yao Yukir to change the diaper and figure out how to take care of her. After that, Zhang Yi talked to Uncle Yu, who was worried because Si Li Mei had been gone for a long time. Zhang Yi decided to look for her and sent a message to the building residents to gather in apartment 1301. He also sent a warning message to Su Hao. Once everyone had gathered, Zhang Yi chose to throw 2 grenades into the room and close the door. The explosion destroyed the room and burned everything. After checking, Zhang Yi found 1 survivor and became angry. Zhang Wei explained that they owed him their lives, and he was only taking what was rightfully his. With that, Zhang Yi felt he had eliminated all his enemies. When he got home, Zhang Yi told Uncle Yu that the residents of the building had rebelled and killed Si Li Mei. They planned to cooperate with another building to launch an attack. However, Zhang Yi had already dealt with them, although some managed to escape. Uncle Yu felt guilty and frustrated, hitting the bed until it cracked, which made Zhang Yi realize Uncle Yu's extraordinary physical strength. Zhang Yi tried to calm him down, admitting responsibility and promising to find him a new woman. Zhang Yi then faced the problem of the baby who kept crying. Yukir said there was no way to calm the baby down, and Zhang Yi decided to find someone to breastfeed the baby. He went to Li Jian's building, the only one that wasn't burned, and asked their leader, Li Jian, for help in a forceful tone. Li Jian admitted his fear, but felt there was no point in running from Zhang Yi. Seeing Zhang Yi carrying a baby, Li Jian realized that he didn't come to attack. Zhang Yi asked Li Jian to find a mother to take care of the baby, as well as food supplies for those who were willing to help. Zhang Yi assured them that he would not harm them, because he knew they would not betray him. Although hesitant, Li Jian finally agreed. Zhang Yi then asked about their future after the food supplies ran out. Li Jian firmly replied that they would die with dignity. Zhang Yi appreciated Li Jian's stance. Li Jian wanted to ask for something, but Zhang Yi refused. However, in the end, he gave them grain seeds as a final aid. Zhang Wei explained that by planting the seeds, they could be self-sufficient without relying on others. He gave help for the first time without any hidden agenda, hoping they could become independent. Li Jian asked an old biology teacher if the grain seeds could grow. The teacher replied that although the chances were small, nothing is impossible. After that, Zhang Yi left the place. At home, Zhang Yi felt satisfied that the problem with the neighbors was resolved and now focused on the new shelter. Yao Yukir came back and asked if Zhang Yi had finished working. Without hesitation, Yao Yukir started preparing food, while Zhang Yi playfully asked Yao Yukir to guess what he wanted. The next day, after getting tired from work, Yao Yukir fell asleep, and Zhang Yi sent a message to Su Hao to come over. Su Hao, who used to be treated harshly, now came respectfully and sat down waiting for Zhang Yi's instructions. Zhang Yi asked about his relationship with Wang Simon and asked Su Hao to hand over his phone. Su Hao fell silent in fear when Zhang Yi asked for his phone. After hesitating, Su Hao gave in and handed it over. Zhang Yi discovered that Su Hao had given all the important information to Wang Simon, including the plan to team up and steal Zhang Yi's belongings. Su Hao swore it was just a strategy to gain Wang Simon's trust. Zhang Yi also realized that Wang Simon already knew about the weapons, the snow vehicle, and his shelter. Taking advantage of this information, Zhang Yi forced Su Hao to reveal details about Wang Simon's underground bunker. Su Hao explained that the bunker was equipped with an anesthetic gas system and flamethrowers. It can only be entered if the people inside allow it. Zhang Yi planned to neutralize the system and listened to Su Hao's plan to pretend to capture Zhang Yi, so that Wang Simon would let them in. Although this plan felt suspicious, Zhang Yi realized this might be the only option available. An idea began to form in his mind. Zhang Yi began to think about another way to utilize the power of his dimensional space. After instructing Su Hao to leave and promising to save his life within 2 or 3 days, Zhang Yi reassured Su Hao, who was worried about the antidote. Zhang Yi assured him that the new poison would only take effect after 7 days. After that, Zhang Yi sat down to contemplate, searching for a new way to use his power. He tried to absorb the flames inside the house with his dimensional space ability. His success in absorbing the fire without getting hurt gave him satisfaction. Then, he tried to release the fire like a cannon, feeling the incredible power he possessed. Zhang Yi's thoughts continued to develop. He considered the possibility of absorbing living creatures into the dimensional space. He became more convinced that his power had great potential. Zhang Yi found a resident of the Legion building who was on guard and made him a test subject. He threw a stick and challenged the man to hit him, with the promise of bread as a reward. Although suspicious, the man tried to hit Zhang Yi for the sake of food. Zhang Yi used the power of his dimensional space and successfully absorbed the man into the dimension. Although the process was slow, once the man was fully inside, he was trapped and appeared frozen like an inanimate object. Zhang Yi checked and found no heartbeat or breath. He realized time in his dimension flowed differently, and living beings didn't die right away, but their minds could be harmed if they stayed too long. He took the man out, who was still alive and scared, and admitted that he felt like he was going to die. Zhang Yi assured him that it was just an illusion. To test further, Zhang Yi cut the man's finger and saw that the finger remained intact inside the dimension. Zhang Yi noticed that the man seemed happy even though he had lost several fingers. The man felt that he could eat well. From the experiment, Zhang Yi concluded that objects could be thrown out of the dimensional space, while living beings were absorbed slowly. Fire can be absorbed and projected at will. With this information, Zhang Yi was confident that he could defeat Wang Shimen. After that, Zhang Yi called Su Hao, who begged to be given the promised antidote because the poison in his body was getting worse. Zhang Yi noticed that despite Su Hao eating well, he looked worse and worse because of the fake injections. Zhang Yi gave him a temporary antidote to relieve his symptoms, which would only last until the operation to attack Wang Shimen's shelter began. Su Hao expressed his gratitude and immediately contacted Wang Shimen to arrange a meeting. Zhang Yi prepared to leave to complete the mission and informed Yao Yukir that he would be going. Yao Yukir was confused since the neighborhood's issues were already resolved, but Zhang Yi promised to explain later. He left food supplies for Yao Yukir and Uncle Yu, and assured Yao Yukir that he was the greatest threat out there. Zhang Yi then kissed Yao Yukir to calm him down before leaving. Zhang Yi began his mission toward the bunker with Su Hao following behind him. They arrived at the condominium area, an elite neighborhood situated high enough that the snow didn't cover the houses there. Zhang Yi observed that the area's topography kept it free from snow. They continued their journey toward Wang Shimen's house. A woman who saw Zhang Yi and Su Hao arriving on a snow vehicle hoped this would be her last chance, considering her house was empty and without food. After arriving in front of Wang Ximen's mansion, the sky was already dark. Zhang Yi instructed Su Hao to call for Wang Ximen. Su Hao, afraid of the possibility of being shot, approached the surveillance camera and introduced himself. He explained their purpose and pleaded for Wang Ximen to let them in, offering a chance to negotiate. Wang Ximen was confused as to why they arrived early and without a snow vehicle. However, he eventually let them in, warning that any suspicious actions would have fatal consequences. As he entered the mansion, Zhang Yi was surprised to see that the mansion was far more luxurious than his own apartment. Su Hao warned that after passing through the door, they would enter the main part of the house. However, as they moved further in, Wang Ximen activated the defense system, and poisonous gas began to be released into the room they were in. In Wang Ximen's surveillance room, smoke filled the area, accompanied by screams that then faded into silence. Through the curtain of smoke, Zhang Yi put on a gas mask and absorbed the smoke into his spatial dimension, making the room quiet. A few minutes later, the door opened, and Zhang Yi was ready to attack, but realized that it wasn't Wang Ximen who came in. Together with Su Hao, Zhang Yi pretended to faint. A man with a weapon approached to make sure they were unconscious. Zhang Yi recognized the man as a famous TV actor, a friend of Wang Ximen. The man then lifted Zhang Yi and Su Hao's bodies, threw them to the floor, and tied them up while boasting about his advanced security system. After leaving, the man and Wang Ximen began discussing Zhang Yi's snowmobile. Zhang Yi freed himself. While listening, Zhang Yi released the gas he had absorbed, directing it at them. When the gas took effect, both of them lost consciousness. Zhang Yi tied them up and secured their weapons. Seeing the luxurious safe house, Zhang Yi walked through several rooms. One of them had an indoor garden that was clearly his. Zhang Yi went up the stairs and found several more rooms. In one of them, he saw an unconscious woman on the bed. Another room was labeled the animal room. Several women were tied up and not addicted to drugs, with syringes scattered on the floor. One of the conscious women was crying and begged to be freed or given drugs. Without any pity, Zhang Yi kicked her. He began to understand what was happening in that place. A few gunshots then broke the silence. Zhang Yi headed to the surveillance room, feeling it was the control center of this shelter. After checking several locked rooms, he gave up and returned to the two wealthy men who were tied up. He splashed water on their faces to wake them up. Confused, the two men didn't understand how they got trapped. Zhang Yi reminded them that a magician would never reveal his tricks, and now there was something important to discuss. Zhang Yi proposed working with Wang Ximen, who hesitated but agreed as long as Zhang Yi didn't harm him. Zhang Yi then asked to stay with Ximen in his luxurious house, saying that it was too lonely to live in by himself. Wang Ximen felt relieved, but Zhang Yi explained that having a rich friend like him was the best thing to do when the snow melted. In return, Zhang Yi asked Wang Ximen to teach him how to operate the home security system and to give him the password and other information. With no choice, Wang Ximen agreed on the condition that Zhang Yi would not hurt him after he gave the information. Zhang Yi promised to let him go, emphasizing that he doesn't kill innocent people. After receiving all the information from Wang Ximen, Zhang Yi pretended that he would let him go. However, he instead attacked Ximen with a knife, telling him to breathe slowly and assuring him that the pain would soon go away. Wang Ximen was confused, and Zhang Yi explained that there was no point in keeping a useless person like him. Zhang Yi felt conflicted about what to do with Su Hao, who had helped a lot. While cleaning up the mess left by Wang Ximen and his friend, Su Hao woke up and was confused about how Zhang Yi could handle it. Zhang Yi explained that he had his own way. Su Hao felt relieved because Wang Ximen, whom he hated, finally got what he deserved. Zhang Yi then gave Su Hao a backpack filled with food as a reward for his help. However, Zhang Yi warned that the electricity in this house wouldn't last long, and the food supplies were starting to run out. Su Hao refused and got angry, accusing Zhang Yi of hiding valuable items and not sharing properly. He felt that the reward he received was not worth the risk. Angrily, Su Hao threatened to reveal everything about Zhang Yi's supplies and strength. Feeling there was no reason to let him live, Zhang Yi shot Su Hao in the chest. Su Hao fell down, and Zhang Yi calmly said that anger only makes a person weaker. He then took back the food backpack and stated that Su Hao would still be alive if he hadn't brought it on himself. Zhang Yi sat in the living room, reflecting. He felt that everything would be better if Yu Qir were here. But what about Uncle Yu? Maybe he could stay in the apartment while Zhang Yi moved here with Yukir. As he walked past the bar, Zhang Yi remembered his promise to find a beautiful girl for Uncle Yu. However, he still didn't know how to do it. Zhang Yi tried checking the TV at home and found an international cable channel. He was curious and started investigating. He located the server room and a satellite internet connection, giving him access to global information. There, he found reports about individuals with special abilities. Some of them could control fire or change color. Zhang Yi concluded that this was another reason to stay in the protected bunker. His goal now was to find Yao Yukir and bring him here. As he was about to start the snow vehicle, a beautiful red-haired woman called out to him. Zhang Yi pointed his weapon at her. However, the woman revealed that she hadn't eaten for several days and asked to go with him. Zhang Yi, who recognized the woman as Yang Mi, a famous actress, finally allowed her to join him. They headed to the bunker, and when the woman asked if this was Wang Ximen's house, Zhang Yi replied that this place now belonged to him. After they entered, warm air greeted them. The woman asked about Zhang Yi's relationship with Wang Ximen. However, Zhang Yi only replied that Wang Ximen had already moved out. The woman then asked for permission to take a shower, which Zhang Yi gladly granted. In the bathroom, the woman thought that this man was quite attractive, and she was ready to make sacrifices for her survival. Yang Mi planned to ask Zhang Yi for permission to stay with him for a while. She convinced herself that this was for her own good. After taking a shower, Yang Mi put on a towel and immediately asked if she could stay here. The harsh world made it difficult for her to survive alone, and she needed protection. Zhang Yi invited Yang Mi to have a drink together and asked if she really believed the snow would melt and the world would return to normal. Yang Mi was sure it would happen, and Zhang Yi agreed. However, Zhang Yi then set a condition. The first was that Yang Mi had to obey his orders. The first order was a couple's workout to burn calories. After the workout, Zhang Yi showed his power by creating a new outfit for Yang Mi. Surprised, Yang Mi asked if Zhang Yi was a very powerful wizard and wanted to discuss it further. Yang Mi, wearing revealing clothes, tried to maintain her appeal. To show his abilities, Zhang Yi served a complete meal with pizza and roast chicken. He offered this comfort if Yang Mi obeyed. Yang Mi added a condition. She didn't want to be forced to do anything too vulgar. Zhang Yi reminded her that she was the one who came to ask him, so it's better not to ask for too much. After hesitating, Yang Mi finally agreed. However, he was more interested in knowing if Yang Mi knew a beautiful woman who could be introduced to him. Yang Mi explained that most of the wealthy people there were already quite old. However, Zhang Yi didn't mind, and would even be fine with a 40-year-old friend of hers. Yang Mi then mentioned Hai Mei, a woman who used to be considered a goddess. Zhang Yi asked Yang Mi to contact the wealthy person, and soon, Hai Mei arrived after a few minutes. Zhang Yi showed his power by creating food from an unexpected place and giving it to Hai Mei. The food was the main reason for her arrival. After that, Zhang Yi reminded them that if information about this place leaked, there would be consequences. Around the luxury condominium in Chu Village, a group of people were preparing themselves for extreme snow. They dug through the snow and went fishing. When they arrived, they saw a snowmobile with a man and a beautiful woman on it. One of them, with bad intentions, tried to attack Zhang Yi with a trident, causing Hai Mei to fall off the snowmobile. Seeing Hai Mei's concern, Zhang Yi immediately stepped forward to protect her. Zhang Yi reminded the men that he was carrying a weapon. However, they challenged him and underestimated the number of bullets he had. They dared to take the risk to seize the snowmobile. Zhang Yi tried to prevent bloodshed. However, one of the men suggested that Zhang Yi leave the vehicle and the woman, so they would let him leave alive. Hai Mei began to hesitate. However, Zhang Yi refused the offer and asked if they were really crazy. Despite the high risk, the man insisted. With no other choice, Zhang Yi shot them all. The first man fell after being shot in the forehead, and the sound of gunfire attracted the attention of wild wolves. Zhang Yi immediately absorbed them into the dimensional space. Hai Mei returned to the snowmobile, and they continued their journey. When the men returned, they found their companion's body lying in the snow and realized that their dog was missing. They concluded that Zhang Yi had killed them and stolen the dog. Revenge was planned. The men returned to the village and headed to the castle where Chunlei lived. Inside, Chunlei was engrossed with a female doll, trapped in his imaginary world. The men who returned felt disgusted when they saw him. They wondered why Chun-Lei preferred a doll over a real woman. They were forced to pull off his blanket to wake him up. After some time, Chun-Lei met them. The men informed him that they knew about Zhang Yi, who had a snow vehicle and a beautiful woman. They asked Chun-Lei for help to capture Zhang Yi and seize the snow vehicle. They suspected that Zhang Yi might have powers like his.
Thank you for following the story this time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content, so you won't miss updates on other exciting comic storylines. Since I produce everything by myself, it takes time to prepare new videos, so please be patient. If there's a comic you want to discuss, just write it in the comments section. See you in the next video. Thanks.